And this is a pretty big response to some videos that I've been meaning to respond to and just haven't had time, so I thought I would try to do this all at once and try to see if I can jam everything into one 10-minute video, so we'll have to wait and see. But these are some videos that people that I like that have made, and they asked some questions and some other things. They made some comments. I'd like to comment on them. Let's start with Oliver Scott 2007. It's Oliver the Scott's new account, for those who don't know. And in this video, he asked me, and you can see all the links to the videos in the description box. So there you go with that. Ring of Honor. He asked. I had said that I felt Davey Richards from Ring of Honor suffered from Landstormitis, and he wondered what I meant by this. What I meant by this, Oliver, was this. In my opinion, I like Davey Richards. I think Davey Richards is a fine wrestler. However, I think he can be entertaining, but I think he has the same problem Lance Storm had in connecting with the fans, getting fans to care about his matches. Lance Storm was one of the best technical wrestlers I ever saw. Problem was, a lot of matches I was just like, it was like paint by numbers. It was like you didn't have any emotional attachment to it. And that's what I meant by Landstormitis. Just the fact that he just seems to have a problem with the fans caring about his matches very much. Just my opinion. You know, the fans don't seem to necessarily boo him like they should with him being a heel, but that's just the way I see it. You might disagree. If you do, well, then we have something to talk about. But that's what I meant by Landstormitis. Then we went to LV5454, and his video, which is titled the TNA versus Ring of Honor War. And I haven't seen his video since I first saw it, so I don't know if anyone's actually talked about what I'm about to talk about. But I have this bad feeling that people, when they see that video, are going to think of yours truly. I'm not saying that to be conceited, but I'm saying that because I don't think any of this started until I got here. I might be wrong. I don't want to sit there and, you know, put more importance on me than there should be. But I think there might be some validation. I don't want to say that I don't think it's some validation, but I have a feeling that people would blame me for that because I am the one that pretty much, first one besides I think Moral, I think Oliver as well, pretty much came on here and championed Ring of Honor pretty hardcore against Bill and Doug and the TNA guys. Let me explain something, and I don't think a lot of people get this who watch my vids. They automatically think that I'm completely biased against TNA, that I don't like TNA, I want to see TNA fail, this, that, and the other. My problem with TNA is this. I am hard on TNA. The reason why I'm hard on TNA is because of 2005. If 2005 had never happened, if TNA had never put on what they did in 2005, I wouldn't be nearly as hard on TNA as I am. But the fact is, they did put on 2005. And like I've said in my anti-Truthslayer videos, they have more talent now than they did in 2005, and they're putting on more shows. That's not good in my opinion. And that's where my problem with TNA stands. I want TNA to succeed. I really do. So much so that back before I got on here on YouTube, I used to post anywhere I could post that I felt one of TNA's biggest problems back in 2006 was that they weren't pulling their guys from Ring of Honor. It was very evident Ring of Honor was starting to gain a lot of steam going into 2007, particularly early 2006 with the CZW stuff, and TNA just basically ignored it. And I said this is going to come back and bite them in the butt, and I think it has, because they basically had to pull their talent when Ring of Honor became a legitimate competition to them. Well, I would say necessarily, but pay-per-view competition to them. And I would argue the fact that they were already competition because someone like myself, somebody like Oliver, someone like Moral, someone like a lot of guys on here who want to see Joe and Daniels and AJ, Homicide, lots of other guys from TNA, and want to see them in good matches and want to see them used where most of us thought they were being used properly. Were you going to watch TNA or were you going to watch Ring of Honor? Most of us ended up watching Ring of Honor, I think. Most of us wound up getting a better connection with Ring of Honor, and that's why we're fans of Ring of Honor. I am a fan of Ring of Honor. Am I a fan of TNA? Not so much, and I'll admit that. But that's because I don't like the product. I don't like the way they're going, much the same way I'm not really a fan of WWE because I don't go where they're going. But, as with Bound for Glory, And what's with the people on the Bill video who said that I trashed Bound for Glory? I gave Bound for Glory a better review than almost anybody on here. What, where did these people come from? But anyways, I gave Bound for Glory a good review. I thought it was a good show, and I rewarded them for it with a good review. Just like at the beginning of the year, I felt WWE was putting on, was honestly, I'll sit here and tell you, they were putting on the best shows of anybody in the world at that point. You had Royal Rumble, no way out sucked. But then you had WrestleMania. I liked WrestleMania. Lots of people like WrestleMania, for those of you that like to bash on WrestleMania. And Backlash were all very good pay-per-views. And the fact that, those three were very good. You only had, and I think it's very easy to say that if the injuries and other things had not happened, that they could have maybe carried that on into the summer with really good pay-per-views, really good Raws, and it'd be kind of weird to see how it happened. Didn't happen, of course, so we can only speculate. But I'm just saying that they were putting on better wrestling than even what I felt Ring of Honor was putting on, or Pro Wrestling Noah for that, as far as that goes. So I do want to see TNA succeed. So for all the people that think that I'm just out here to bash TNA, you're wrong. And it does bother me when I see other Ring of Honor fans come on here and overly bash TNA. I was in a chat section with Doug last week, and guys were just ripping on Doug, and I found myself actually agreeing with Doug on some stuff and saying, guys, he's right on some of this stuff. I mean, you guys are going overboard on a lot of the stuff you're saying. And I think that's where it comes into. As I bring up things that I think people should know as to problems I see in TNA, and I think people see that as me trying to tear TNA down. It's not so much me trying to tear TNA down as much as me trying to show the TNA fans the problems they need to be aware of the promotion they like, and to tell TNA, hey, you need to change this. We're asking you to change this. Which brings me to video number 3, which is Calvin A. Hobbs' new video, in which him and his buddy did a little video, in which the point of the video was, the main point that I want to talk about of the video, there was two basically parts of the video, was he brought on his buddy, and him and his buddy were basically talking about the fact that it's the casual fans, because his buddy's more of a casual wrestling fan, that WWE, Ring of Honor, and TNA want and need. I agree with that's what they want and need. However, for those of you that don't know, what the internet wrestling community estimates in the U.S., and this is just the U.S. number that I'm going to estimate, is about, low number is 250,000, high number is 500,000. We're going to use 250 just because that's the low number, and that's the number I want to use. So it's about 250,000 people. If TNA, who is their biggest, where they get the most money from is pay-per-views, and I'm going to hurry up and run through this because I'm running out of time, we're able to get just half of the diehard wrestling community to get their pay-per-views on a regular basis. That's 125,000 fans that could be getting your paper that aren't. That's almost 4 or 5 times of what you're getting now. So I do think that TNA does need the diehard fans, just like I think Ring of Honor needs the diehard fans. Now, once you get to a certain point, I would say, as far as we're going to talk TV ratings, probably a 2.0. At that point, then you don't need to start worrying about the hardcore fans and the diehard wrestling fans so much as then you can start worrying more about the casual fans. TNA's not there. Since TNA's not there, I would freely say that they need to worry about winning us over. Because if you win us over, if you win over the diehard wrestling fans, we do have a tendency to bring in the casual fans with us because we create a buzz about your product. I would fault the WWE for this as well, because they don't give us, the internet wrestling community, enough in their product to create a buzz about their product. So that's where I would go. I do think that we are somewhat important. I do think they do have to gear stuff towards us, particularly Ring of Honor and TNA. Not so much WWE, but I do think the WWE has to do a better job of at least catering to us on some level so that we can create a buzz about their product, so that the internet community can create a buzz that brings in and kind of, makes the casual wrestling fans like, hey, look, the diehard fans are liking this. Maybe I should check this out. Maybe this is a good thing, type of thing. Kind of ran out of time, but that's all I got. So talk to you later, and bye.